Well, I'm back with another look at my keeper cases, and this week's going to be a really special look at my earliest work when I was on my way. Now, this case we're looking at right now is the very first points that I made and I kept, because nobody wanted them for one thing, and I'm glad I kept them now because I've got something to compare with. But as you look on my hand here, these are small, and there's a reason for that. It's because I had small pieces of rock to work with. Now almost every piece in here was made from a flake that I found when I was out looking on a field for arrowheads and artifacts. So that's kind of special because, you know, I was not only finding arrowheads, I was bringing home chips to work, and it helped a lot to get me used to this tough Onondaga chert that we have to deal with here. You know, you figure if they could work with it, we should be able to work with it too. But this is case number one out of all of them because this is the very first case. Now, this wasn't one I was proud of. That's coming up next. So, as you see, you know, I'm looking at a variety of shapes, trying to mimic the things that I found in the fields or wanted to find. Now, you noticed at this point there are no fluted points in there because, well, I hadn't found one and really wasn't too familiar with them. So let's move on to case number two in my early years. So, and that's what we have right here. Now, big changes here. You notice it's not all Onondaga. I was starting to get Chips magazine, I think then, and in the back there was an ad for some obsidian for sale. And what you see here, well, this one, and pretty much this whole row here, and a couple here, and one here. That's all obsidian that I worked. And wow, you know, when you're working Onondaga and you all of a sudden transition to obsidian, it's like working with butter. But as you see, this frame here I was pretty proud of, and as a matter of fact, I was so proud of it I took it to work and I had it hanging on the wall for many years until I retired. Also, there's a piece of glass right here. So I got to try my hand first at working glass, and there's 3 white points. A friend of mine, Jim, saw me flint knapping one day at the museum in Letchworth Park, and he gave me a piece of Burlington. Well, I spalled that up, and I made this point, and this point out of it. Now, everything in here is pretty clunky. I mean, it's thick, it's heavy, and it's not where I want it to be, even though the stuff I was finding was quite similar in shape. This is probably one of my first Snyder's points I ever made right there. And here's another one. So right off the bat I was pretty impressed with Snyder's points. And so as you see this case, again, a lot of the archaic shapes that I find around here, and finally getting to try my hand at something different than Onondaga chert. Here's the one case that I was super proud of right here, and this is the one I gave you a preview of last week. Now, these are much better made, much thinner. This whole bottom row here is all Onondaga, and even though they're still a little bit clunky, not bad. I think this one's got a date of 1987 on it. This one here, that was 86, and the one previous to that was 85. But notice this brown colored glass. Well, I found out that you could nap the bottom of beer bottles. So I wasn't returning all the bottles. I was knocking the bottoms out, and I was using them to chip into arrowheads. Really makes some pretty cool looking arrowheads. Here's a little obsidian here, more obsidian here, and down here. I got quite a bunch from a fella down in Virginia. He sent me some. Look at these drills. I mean, really, these are not bad drills for back then. Only 2 years into knapping, and I was making pretty nice looking drills. But as a rule, why I made a drill is because an arrowhead I was working on didn't go well, and I kept chipping it until it turned into something like that. Nice little turkey tail. And right here is a really good, I was quite proud of this one, beer bottle bottom glass Snyder's style point. There's also some knife river here. How I got my hands on some of this other materials that you see showing up in here was I met a fellow named Jack Holland in 1986, and he went around the country and collected materials, flint materials, chert materials, and he was writing some literature on it and compiling a library of the different materials around the United States. So he would collect this material and then he would give some to me. I met him at the Lamb site, which is a early man site up near Corfu, New York, near Darien Lake theme park. And so when I met Jack, he kind of took me under his wing and gave me materials. Look at all these fantastic little Madisons and Lavanas. I found those quite fascinating, and as you see, I did focus on them pretty much on this whole middle row here. So really, you know, it's been a slow progression. I was pretty much, I would say, self-taught. I got some advice from Jack. I had the Art of Flint Knapping book that I referred to by DC and Val Waldorf. I got to meet those two. Got to be good friends with them, and you know, it was just a lot of time practicing. I would go out in my little workshop, and I should take a picture of that and show you what it looks like. It's still in the neighborhood, and I would sit out there in the winter time with a kerosene heater right in front of me, and I would go out there day after day after day, night after night, breathing in those kerosene fumes, flint dust, and who knows what else. And I can't believe that I didn't have serious breathing difficulties after, you know, breathing in all that stuff. But, you know, when you're young, you can get away with a lot. But I want to thank you once again for watching this video and the series that I've been putting out. I'm excited to get out the next one. It's going to be a special one. I'm not going to tell you too much about that one. But, you know, every flint knapper has goals and accomplishments, and I had a couple accomplishments that were very meaningful to me over the years, and we're going to focus on those next week. So, once again, thanks for watching. If you're not subbed, I'd appreciate a sub from you. You know, go through the whole routine. I'd appreciate a thumbs up if you like this, and also a comment if you got time. So that'll be it for this time, and we will catch you on the next one. Have a great day.